It's Wednesday, April 15th, and this is Now on HNN.
Frankly, folks, I have lost all confidence that this administration is going to pull us out of this problem.
Union leaders say the governor has proposed a staggering 20% pay cut for most public employees, which could start as early as May 1st.
Top officials work on a roadmap for reopening the country. I'm Skylar Ender with a look at the plan and pushback on the president's decision to pull funding from the WHO.
There will be lessons for all of us.
Back here at home, a COVID-19 cluster prompts the closure and cleaning of 2 Kona fast food eateries.
The transmission appears to be limited to co-workers.
These stories plus why Fortnite fans are having to play the waiting game coming up on This Is Now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for watching This Is Now. I'm Jonathan, your director, producer, alongside Ashley here. We want to get started with some developing news from the Department of Health. We got some brand new numbers to pass along.
Health officials are reporting 13 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the statewide total to 530. Of the new cases, most are on Oahu and the rest are on Maui. Hawaii's death toll stands at 9, and 359 people have been released from isolation.
More new developments to get to. That's because union leaders are telling us that the state has proposed a 20% cut in pay for most public employees, and we're told that could take place as soon as May 1st. I talked to our managing editor here at HNN, Daryl Huff, about this to get some more insight. Let's hear what he had to say. All right, we have HNN's managing editor, Daryl Huff, here to explain these potential pay cuts more to us. Daryl, can you just sort of step back for the last 24 hours or so? This news started trickling out, got a huge social media buzz. What unfolded? What happened?
Well, yesterday evening, the HGA and HSTA started sending out alerts to their members. There was a meeting yesterday afternoon, I believe, between those unions, the state unions, and also some of the county unions, I'm told, to warn them about 20% and 10% pay cuts, 10% for the first responders, 20% for pretty much everybody else. The county unions should not be affected by this. The counties are financed separately. So like most of the county police forces, most of the fire departments would not be affected by this. This is strictly what the state is doing because the state relies so heavily on hotel room taxes and excise taxes that they are taking a huge revenue hit, estimated 25, 30% revenue hit that is probably going to stretch out over a year or so. So that's what's making the public workers union so mad is nobody talked about this. Nobody admitted this was going on. Then they dropped this in a meeting and they're like, wait a minute, can we talk this over a little bit? And it just infuriated the public worker unions. In fact, last night, one of the things that we received fairly late in the evening, I think it was after 9 o'clock, was a video message from HGEA President Randy Pereira, who was saying he's lost all confidence in the governor.
Frankly, folks, I have lost all confidence that this administration is going to pull us out of this problem. That's a strong statement. But just like other things that we have seen throughout the tenure of this governor, there's no plan.
So, Daryl, we're also hearing from the teachers union. They're being pretty vocal about this as well, right?
Yes, because a 20% furlough, pay cut, or whatever, they don't know. Does that mean, so we're going to work 4 days a week? Because taking 1 day a week would be 20%. What's going on? Is this furlough Fridays all over again, which was a Lingle administration reaction back in the Great Recession to the drop in revenue that wasn't even as bad as this one could be. What the unions are saying, though, is they're saying, wait a minute, we don't know what the long-term implications are going to be. The state started off with such a big surplus, it was actually offering teachers raises, hoping to offer big raises for teachers and tax cuts for the poor and more housing supports. All that stuff is by the by now. So the unions are saying, well, why come right at us first? When in fact, there's all these other things that you're not going to do that you can adjust. Legislature's in session, you can make adjustments, and everybody will be back working. The taxes should be pumping again by late in the fiscal year, maybe the next calendar year, but things should get better. So why do the first thing you think of in cutting state government is our salaries? And we just got an email from one angry person who's actually unemployed, who's mad at both the state workers for complaining, and two, complaining when some of them are sitting on the shelf and earning money and not working. She says they should be on the unemployment line too. So save your money that way, Governor. And also, Governor, you should take a pay cut before you start talking about
Speaking of the governor, what is he saying about all this?
nothing.
I know we asked him some questions about potential furloughs, though, right? And he basically said
several times over the last few days, his chief of staff have been questioned about, what are you going to do? And they say, we're thinking about things like furloughs, but, we haven't made a decision yet. And so we don't know how this meeting went yesterday. My guess is it didn't go well because, they're basically coming out of the box complaining publicly about this. This ends up being very divisive. This divides public workers from private sector workers who are being laid off. It divides public workers from other public workers. Why should that guy be getting keeping his pay while I'm losing my pay? It divides the city and the counties. The counties get their money from property taxes, which is not nearly as affected as the state. So they probably won't be in this position. So now you've got county workers doing better potentially than state workers. It's just a very divisive situation at absolutely the wrong time.
All right, Daryl Huff there. I know you're busy today. Thank you for your insight and keep up the good questions in those press conferences, even though they're through text. I always enjoy hearing them. Have a good one, Daryl.
I finally had to learn how to text.
Daryl Huff working on his Zoom skills there as well. Thanks for joining us, Daryl. All right, I want to stick on this subject for just a short time longer because the state superintendent of schools just spoke about this. That's Dr. Christina Kishimoto. She talked to our star advertiser friends just a short time ago. I want to play out the sound that she gave them. Let's listen in.
Yes, so we are, alerted to the need to revisit our state budget, and certainly the Department of Education as a large government agency that relies on the state budget is going to be looking at what this impact is going to mean for us. I will say that we're early in this. We haven't received guidance yet, so we are awaiting guidance from Budget and Finance Office. That's typically how it works. We do know that the rest of the school year, which goes through May 28th, and our summer school planning, we will continue with that, and we don't expect any interruption to this current year or to the summer plan.
Kishimoto also announced today that in the interest of public health and safety, no traditional commencement ceremonies will be taking place this year. Instead, she says schools are planning their own alternative graduation celebrations to take place in May, and that plans should be announced starting next week. Meanwhile, thousands of Hawaii residents are frustrated with the state's unemployment office. We've heard people are waiting weeks with no response from the office, and now they're wondering how they're going to pay their bills and put food on the table. The head of the Labor Department, Scott Murakami, was on Sunrise this morning. Let's listen to what he had to say.
We've been trying to tackle this in a number of different ways. I think I tried to explain to the Senate in 3 different phases, but we started to see the system degrade. What we did was we started focusing a lot on how do we take in filings from people. Following that, our next phase was really how do we accelerate the process so that we get people paid. And then the third phase that we're on is trying to help people better communicate, and all this time trying to alleviate any kind of traffic from the server. So at this point, we're seeing the number of filings decline. We've shifted our focus really to processing claims because we can accelerate the process for a claim, but it has to be a clean claim. And what that means is it has to come in with all the appropriate information and filled out on behalf of the claimant. If it doesn't, then we need to go back and get in contact with them to get that proper information to ensure that we file their claim properly.
How about this? And since you mentioned that the application has to be written up the right way, we had one email from somebody that's asking about an application that wasn't filed properly. They didn't find out about it until they were told that they could go back and check on where we were in that process. And that person says that they've lost out on 3 weeks worth of unemployment. Is it possible to get back pay for the money that he's owed?
Absolutely. And I would tell your viewer, you will be made whole for all of the back pay. And if you have a concern about that, we do now have a dedicated email address that they can address, they can send a message to. And there's some instructions on the website as to what information needs to be included in that. and we will make sure that you get your entire back pay. So they don't have to worry about that. We are backdating the claims. We are able to do that, and I can assure your viewer that we will get them their full amount that they're entitled to from the date of separation.
Scott, can you give us a timeline? There are so many people that have already filed. They still haven't seen their money yet. At the latest, when could those people start to see those checks come?
You know, Steve, that's really tough to say because each claim is an individual claim. So we can't make generalizations on anything except to say if it's perfectly clean. We've been able to reduce the time quite significantly, I think to about 14 days for a claimant to file and get paid versus the normal 21 days that were required, the required window that's established by the federal government. But the problem is that, or the situation is that every individual claimant has a unique situation.
Right.
And as a result, we have to evaluate every single claim that comes in. And that's why we've been working closely with other state departments to get the necessary manpower, because it becomes something where we individually have to process each claim.
Now, nationally, there have been close to 28,000 deaths related to COVID-19. In New York, the number of fatalities has stabilized in the 700 range. But now the state, New York, has more COVID-19 cases than any other nation in the world. Michael George has the latest.
Nurses from around the country got a hero's welcome when they arrived at a Long Island hospital Tuesday. Their hospital system that services much of the New York City area put out an SOS for help, and 46 nurses answered the call.
I just feel like this is a calling that I felt several weeks ago. I left family, kids, grandchildren behind to come up and help these people that need our help.
Health officials in New York City are changing the way they count coronavirus deaths. They added 3,800 people who never tested positive but are presumed to have died from COVID-19. New York's governor today mandated mouth and nose coverings for all residents when they're in situations where they can't keep a 6-foot social distance.
Local government should start to enforce it.
In Richmond, Virginia, Canterbury Rehabilitation and Healthcare Center has now lost 45 residents. That's more than the number of COVID deaths at the Life Care Center in Washington State, where the crisis in this country started. In South Dakota, a city mayor is pushing back against the state governor, who has not issued a stay-at-home order. Sioux Falls is the site of the largest known cluster of coronavirus cases in the country. 440 employees of this now closed pork processing plant.
Well, right now we're doubling, and we've been doubling every 4 days for the last 18 days. I would rather be chastised for being overcautious than chastised for saying, "Why didn't you act, Mayor?"
But dozens of protesters in Michigan say their stay-at-home order has gone too far. Today they surrounded the state capitol and blocked traffic.
We're tired of not being able to buy the things that we need, go to the hairdressers, get our hair done. It's time to open up.
Michigan has lost 1,700 residents to coronavirus, and the governor says to save lives, she extended a stay-at-home order through the end of the month. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Back on Oahu, a new order requiring people to wear cloth face masks in any essential business goes into effect on Monday. Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell signed the mandate, which applies to customers and employees, as well as those who use public transportation like the bus and handy van. Masks will not be required in banks or when using an ATM, and people with breathing problems or pulmonary conditions are exempt from the order.
All right, we're learning more about a cluster of cases, at least a dozen, that's at a McDonald's in the Big Island and at the Kona Commons Shopping Center. The number has nearly doubled since it was first reported. Allison Blair has been looking into this. She filed this report yesterday.
The state's health director says this cluster is an example of how quickly the virus can spread. Big Island Mayor Harry Kim says an employee at the Kona Commons McDonald's initially tested positive last week. That worker's family members and fellow employees were then tested. More positive results started coming in over the weekend. The state says all of those COVID positive patients are in isolation, while others exposed to them are in 14-day self-quarantine. Officials say the investigation is ongoing, but right now they don't believe public health is at risk.
The transmission appears to be limited to co-workers, and not to customers, as appropriate barriers and social distancing measures were used to limit the interactions and protect customers.
McDonald's released a statement that reads in part, "As soon as we were notified of the confirmed cases, we immediately closed the restaurants and have conducted a thorough sanitation procedure, as well as notify local public health authorities." It went on to say, "We have offered universal testing to our employees at each location." The state confirms 2 paramedics and 2 firefighters were exposed helping a patient who called 911 but didn't tell them right away they had family members who had tested positive. All 4 of those first responders are currently in isolation. Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
Now, despite Hawaii's quarantine rules, tourists continue to fly into the state. The Hawaii Tourism Authority says 164 visitors arrived yesterday. That's the highest visitor count since the emergency order took effect on March 26th, when 239 visitors arrived. Altogether, 691 people flew in yesterday. Most of them were returning residents or airline crew members.
Listen up to this next story because it's some positive news and it's some much needed relief for many. 5,000 pounds of local produce were delivered to the food bank yesterday. As Kainoa Carlson explains, it's an effort to help feed people and to keep local farmers going. Let's listen in.
In dealing with the challenging economic times created by the COVID-19 crisis, the Hawaii Food Bank has committed to purchase local agricultural products for its food assistance programs.
Very exciting day for all of us here at Hawaii Food Bank, and we're so grateful for Hawaii Farm Bureau to step up and really understand what we were trying to accomplish here. And so we made a commitment to invest $200,000 of Hawaii Food Bank monies into purchasing fresh produce to keep our farmers farming, keep our ranchers ranching.
Today the first shipment arrived. 5,000 pounds of fresh produce made locally here in the islands from a variety of local farms.
5,000 pounds. 5,000 pounds that we're not sure if would have been sold. 5,000 pounds for the local farmers and ranchers to continue farming. Really trying to help the underserved. That's what this program is about. It's connecting the farmers and ranchers who need to continue to farm to make an income so they can continue to grow.
Tuesday's delivery included bok choy from Waianae, squash and long beans from Oahu, and sweet potato from the Big Island. This shipment the first of many, as the produce will now be distributed through the Food Bank's Ohana Produce Plus program and Senior Food Box program. A win for local farmers and those who need the food now more than ever.
The beauty of the partnership is if he knows that there are farmers that have produce that they need to get out and they're struggling with, that's something that we could say, okay, well, maybe we can distribute that and get that out to folks because we know that they need it.
For a list of where the food bank's mass drop-offs are located, head over to the website hawaiinewsnow.com. Kainoa Carlson, Hawaii News Now.
The U.S. Commerce Department says retail sales nationwide plummeted a record 8.7% in March, the worst drop in generations, as non-essential businesses across the country were forced to close their doors. Clothing and accessory stores were among the hardest hits, with sales down more than 50% compared to this time last year. Gasoline sales were down 17% with more people staying at home, and car sales were down 25%. Not surprising though, food and beverage sales are up almost 30% as Americans continue to stock up at home.
Staggering numbers there. All right, want to turn now to that controversy over the World Health Organization. They're firing back against President Trump, and so are others, after he decided to halt funding to the agency. Skylar Henry is at the White House. He filed this report. Let's check in with him.
Members of the Trump administration continue to cast blame on the World Health Organization for the coronavirus outbreak, claiming the WHO didn't give the U.S. enough warning.
They knew for a while, and they dragged their feet, it looks like, and we just want to know what they knew and was the truth there.
Just yesterday, the president announced he's freezing funding to the international body as his administration reviews its response to the pandemic.
There will be lessons for all of us to learn. But for now, our focus, my focus, is on stopping this virus.
In a statement Wednesday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called President Trump's action dangerous and illegal, adding the decision would be swiftly challenged. President Trump says he's planning to issue revised social distancing guidelines soon to help restart the stalled economy.
It's going to be very, very close, maybe even before the date of
May 1st. The Washington Post obtained a draft proposal of CDC and FEMA guidance for state and local governments. The agencies are recommending that first, there's confidence that infection rates are genuinely low, and the health system has the capacity to handle a new surge of cases. And there needs to be a well-functioning system to test and trace patients.
They're diagnosed, and then they're isolated, and then their contacts are traced. That's going to be fundamental. This outbreak got beyond containment this time. We need to get it back, so the containment's an important part of our overall strategy.
Some Americans have started seeing government relief checks from last month's $2.2 trillion stimulus package. The one-time payments are designed to be a lifeline for tens of millions feeling the financial strain of the virus. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
All right, we want to get a check of the markets. The markets are all closed right now. Dow down 1.8% at 23,504. NASDAQ down also 1.4%, and the S&P 500 down 2.20%. I have to say, I got my check. Pretty happy about that.
Good for you.
Yep. All right, let's switch gears to some other headlines, right?
Yep, France marks a somber anniversary with a tribute to essential workers, and there's a new look for those stimulus checks. Danya Bacchus has a wrap of some other headlines.
President Trump's name will be printed on government stimulus checks mailed out in the coming days. It is believed to be the first time a president's name has appeared on an IRS disbursement check. Millions of Americans are already getting stimulus money through direct deposit. The Justice Department is siding with a Mississippi church that was cited for holding drive-in services in a parking lot. Attorney General William Barr says even in times of emergency, when restrictions are placed on rights, the First Amendment and federal law do not allow discrimination against religious institutions. And in Paris, a single bell tolled Wednesday from Notre Dame Cathedral. The bell rang at the hour French people have been applauding healthcare workers battling the coronavirus. It was a year ago today that the 850-year-old landmark caught fire. France has vowed to rebuild in 5 years, but restoration work is now halted because of the pandemic. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Man, Notre Dame there looks so different without those iconic steeples above it. And then reliving seeing this flame video there, dramatic still even 1 year later. We're going to move now to our new segment here at This Is Now, Checking In. Today we're checking in with something near and dear to your heart, Make-A-Wish. And we're speaking to the CEO and president over there. Let's check in.
All right, we are checking in today with Trini Kalpuiki-Clark. She is the CEO and president of a very special organization, Make-A-Wish Hawaii. Hi, Trini. How are you doing with everything?
Hi, Ashley. I'm doing okay, as well as can be.
Well, you're at home, obviously. What kind of changes did Make-A-Wish have to make, amid the pandemic? What's going on?
Oh, we have been very busy. In early March, Make-A-Wish America made the difficult decision to postpone all travel wishes. So we immediately had to, kind of shift and pivot as many organizations in Hawaii did. Of course, we continue to grant the wishes that we can grant, all of the non-travel wishes. In fact, our program team right now is working on some wishes to have. There's a child right now that with her sibling sleeps in a twin bed. So her wish is to have her own bed. So we're making it really special for her. Obviously just doing as much as we can and also bringing a lot of hope and joy to those waiting wish kids, because almost 20 kids had to have their wishes indefinitely on hold right now. And then of course, Hawaii is such a popular place for our mainland wish kids. And so, more than 300 kids had to have their wishes also postponed who wished to come to Hawaii. So lots of changes. But basically our team has been working from home for about a month. And, we are just doing all we can to continue to grant the wishes we can grant. And then, of course, let our waiting wish kids know that we are still thinking about them, we love them, and we look forward to granting their wishes when the time is right.
Right. I was going to ask you, what are some things you guys are doing, kind of to keep spirits high? And I hear there's a virtual talent show in the works.
Yes, we do have our wonderful team at Make-A-Wish. came up with something really fun to kind of get the community involved. It's just a fun, easy way for the community to rally behind our Wish Kids. And it's called Stars at Home. It's a virtual talent show. And we're so excited to bring this to the community. We've been accepting 60-second videos from folks. We have Wish Kids, Wish alum, volunteers, some of our board members, members of the community that have been submitting those videos. And we are going to be inviting the community to vote on their favorite performance. And so far, we've had so many fun entries. We have someone doing tricks on a trampoline. We have singing, dancing hula. We have someone doing burpees. All sorts of really, really creative ideas. And this is just a fun, easy way for the folks to get involved. I know a lot of people are home right now. You know, they're on their phones anyway, they're online anyway. So this is a way that they can support our Wish Kids. We're asking the community when they vote to make a $5 donation. Domino's Hawaii, we are so thrilled to be partnering with them. They're gonna match every $5 donation. So this is huge for us, and we really hope that people will support, you know, in this time of need, and just really rally behind all of our wonderful Wish Kids whose wish that they've been looking forward to are put on hold.
Yeah, it's great to hear all the good things you guys are still doing under the circumstances. Trini, just curious, personally for you, how has this all impacted you personally? What are you doing differently in your day-to-day that you normally wouldn't be doing because of the virus?
Well, I've been wearing sweatpants for the last 2 weeks. You're special, Ashley, because this is the first time my hair has been down since I've been working from home. I normally have it on a high bun. And it's just, you know, as you saw, we've got the kids doing distance learning from home. So it's just all been interesting. We're all just trying to get used to our new norm. I will say, though, that I'm extremely grateful for this extra forced family time. You know, my kids are 12 and 15, so they're normal right now. They love being with their friends. So it's been hard on them, but being forced to do stuff with mom and dad has really been a benefit for us. So I think I'll look back at this time and just feel grateful that we are all home and together. And, you know, we're riding bikes, we're exercising together, just playing games, board games. That's kind of been my world, along with, of course, trying to pivot a lot with Make-A-Wish and just figuring out all that we have to do for the organization.
Well, thank you, Trini, for checking in with us, and we want you to be safe and healthy and keep us posted on all things Make-A-Wish.
Will do. Thank you so much, Ashley. Thanks for calling in.
Awesome. I don't know if you noticed, Jonathan, but there were 3 different background shots in Trini's interview.
She was moving around.
It was so funny because her kids are home, so they need either the TV or they needed the kitchen. But it shows you it's real life, right? It's reality right now for a lot of working people.
I love what she said there at the end. It's like they're really getting some new quality family time that they didn't always necessarily embrace before. And I'm seeing that all over the place with like grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads doing these TikTok video challenges. I love it. Keep them coming. Send them to us. We love seeing them as well. But real quick, you're part of the talent show. We didn't give away what your talent was. Yes. I know what it is. I think I'm not even going to give a hint because it's good, folks.
So the talent show opens up April 22nd to the 28th, and you can vote. So please vote for me, and we can win a pizza party, Jonathan, here.
Yeah.
And we can help grant wishes for Hawaii's Keiki. So
you didn't ask me to submit it.
The deadline to submit a video is today. So anyone out there who has a talent that wants to share with Make-A-Wish, please do so, and we'll have some information up on our website too.
I don't know what I would do. I've been told I can make a mean train whistle. See? Oh no. Oh gosh, it's so weak. Oh no.
Okay, let's move on.
Disney has a new documentary out.
So with more people staying at home and watching a lot of TV, Star Wars fans are getting excited about this new release. So Disney Plus is debuting a new 8-part docuseries called Disney Gallery: The Mandalorian. Now, it's a behind-the-scenes look at how the popular Mandalorian series was created, including interviews and never-before-seen footage. Now, executive producer Jon Favreau hosts the series, which debuts May 4th, the day fans celebrate all things Star Wars. May the 4th be with you. Yeah. And after that, Disney Plus will stream new episodes every Friday.
Huge fan. Love the show. Can't wait to watch that. All right, so the next story is just, I put this in just to break Haku, your boyfriend's heart. Fortnite fans, sorry for you.
So Fortnite fans will have to wait a few more weeks for the new season of the hugely popular video game, and that's because Epic Games has delayed the release to June 4th without giving any reason. It was supposed to be out April 30th. Now the company did say fans will be able to experience new content while they wait for the new release.
Honestly, I've never played, but I love the
Me
dance
neither.
moves there too. You never play. You have to watch it a lot, huh?
I don't.
I saw he was up to it last night. I saw it on his Insta. All right, one more try, please.
Jonathan, you have many talents. I think you should pick a different one.
I think my hands are too dry from all the hand sanitizer, honestly. All right, embarrassing myself again tomorrow, folks, but we have tons of updates coming for you this afternoon. We have a press conference with Governor Ige. We expect to hear more about those potential cuts to state workers. That's coming up at 2:30. We're going to take that across the board on all H&M platforms and on our digital platform, so look out for that push alert. And since I failed so miserably at my whistle attempt, I swear I can do it. I was like a bird caller guy. I could do that.
All right, I believe you.
Okay. But since I failed, we're going to give you something with real talent. This is a local choir. They are known as the Sounds of Aloha. Let's listen into them and leave you with that tonight, folks.
I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world, wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do?